Hello everyone, welcome you all to Keralakam CBSE School Mudhoda online classes. So in last class we were discussing exercise 2.5. In that already we discussed problems up to problem number 6. Today I will discuss some more problems from this exercise 2.5 and then I will discuss about multiplication of decimal numbers. Okay, so here in 7th question they have given one diagram here. First I will draw the diagram so that you can understand this question in better way. So this is the given diagram and this is point A, B, C, D. So now they have given Dinesh went from place A to place B. Here Dinesh went from this place A to place B and there to place C. From this place B to place C. So now Dinesh he started from point A and he went to B. From this point B again he went to point C. A is 7.5 km from B. Here this A is 7.5 km from this point B. Okay. And B is 12.7 km from point C. This B is 12.7 kilometers. B is 12.7 kilometers from this point C. Ayub went to place A. Ayub went from place A. Another person. Dinesh went from place A to B and from B to C. Where the distance between A to B is 7.5 km and the distance between point B to C is 12.7 km. And here another person Ayub went from this place A only and he went from place A to place D and from there to place C and here from point D to point C he went. Okay. D is 9.3 kilometers from point A. D is 9.3 kilometers from this A and this C is 11.8 kilometers from D. This C is 11.8 kilometers from D. Who travelled more and by how much? So here two persons are there. One is Dinesh and one is Ayub. They are travelling from this point A to point C. So here Dinesh went to point C from this B. First Dinesh he went to B. From that he went to C. And even they have given distance between A to B, that is 7.5 km, and distance between B to C, that is 12.7 km. So this is the total distance travelled by Dinesh. And another person Ayub, he is also going from point A to point C only, but he will follow different path. That is, he will go to D. From A to D first he will go. Again from this D he will go to C only. And here also they have given distance between A to D, that is 9.3 km, and distance between C to D is 11.8 km. And now they are asking who travelled more. How will you find out who travelled more? You have to find out how much distance travelled by Dinesh and how much distance travelled by Ayub. How to find out that? You have to add 7.5 and 12.7. This is the distance travelled by Dinesh because he went from A to B and B to C. So this is the distance travelled by Dinesh. Next you have to calculate distance travelled by Ayub, that is A to D and D to C. You have to add 9.3 kilometers and 11.8 kilometers. So you will get distance travelled by both Dinesh and Ayub, and you have to compare those values because they are asking who travelled more. So you have to compare those values. then you have to tell by how much distance there is the difference between those two peoples. Okay. So now in first step I will write here distance traveled by Dinesh. Okay. So now how will you find out distance traveled by Dinesh? From first he went to point B from A, that is 7.5 kilometer. So first I will write 7.5. Next he went to C from this B, distance is 12.7 kilometer. So below this 7.5 I have to write 12.7 kilometers. And while writing these values, decimal numbers, we should be careful with positions of the numbers. Here below this ones position value we should get ones value only, and below this tens value we should get tens value. Here we have 1 in tens position, we have to write it in tens position only. In tens position only. So now we have to add these two values to get the total distance traveled by Dinesh. That is here 5 plus 7, 12. So 1 is carry, so 2 we will write here. Now 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 1, here we have 1 carry. So 9 plus 1, 10. So 1 is carry, again we will write 0 here. Now here 1 plus 1, what we will get? 20. Okay? 1 plus 1, 2. So now after 1 digit we have decimal point here, so that I will put 1 decimal point. Okay? So this is the distance traveled by Dinesh. How much? 20.2 kilometers. Now we will find out the distance traveled by Ayub. Distance traveled by Ayub. How will you find out total distance traveled by Ayub? Here Ayub, he went from A to D, and again from this D he went to C. Okay, so A to D, D to C. You have to find out the distance. Okay, so now distance traveled by Ayub from A to D, how much they are given? 9.3 kilometers. So first I will write 9.3 kilometers. Next, distance traveled by Ayub from this D to C, how much they are given? 11.8 kilometers. So here I will write 11.8 kilometers. Now we have to add these two values. Okay. So here 3 plus 8, 11. So 1 carry, I will write 1 here. And after these values we have decimal point, so I will consider decimal point here only. Now 9 plus 1, 10. 10 plus 1, 11. Again 1 carry, so 1 I will write it here. Now here 1 plus 1 means 2. So what is the value we got now? 21.1 kilometer. So this is the distance traveled by Ayub. Okay. Now we have to compare these two values. What are the values we have to compare here? That is nothing but 20.2 kilometer and 21.1 kilometer. Because this is the total distance traveled by Dinesh and this is total distance traveled by Ayub. If you compare these two values, we will get to know who traveled more distance. So now if you compare these two values, first I will write 20.2, next value that is 21.1. So if you compare these two values, okay, so here you can see you have to compare these values from left to right, from leftmost value to the right values. So here in the first position we have 2. In both the values we have 2 only. So now we will compare next digit. We will move one step towards right side. So here we have 0 and here we have 1. Which is the greater value? 1 is greater than 0. So if 1 is greater than 0, then this 21.1 is greater than 20.2. So here I will consider this symbol which says that 20.2 is less than 21.1, or you can say that 21.1 kilometers is greater than 20.2. So now based on this you can write here who travelled 20.2 kilometers. This is the distance travelled by Dinesh. And who travelled 21.1 kilometer? This is the distance travelled by Ayub. Okay. So we got to know that this 21.1 is greater than 20.2, means Ayub travelled more distance than Dinesh. Okay. So here I will write, therefore Ayub travelled more distance than Dinesh. Okay. And here in this question only they are asking who travelled more by how much. Here we got to know Ayub travelled more than Dinesh, but they are asking how much he has travelled more than Dinesh. How you can find out? You have to subtract this 20.2 kilometers from 21.1, so that we got to know how much distance was travelled more by Ayub than Dinesh. Okay. So here first 21.1 kilometer minus 20.2 kilometer. So if you subtract here, you will get how much distance more covered by who is that? Ayub than Dinesh. So now you have to subtract here. So 1 minus 2, it is not possible. So take 1 as a carry. So 11 minus 2. 11 minus 2 means 9. And after these two digits, we have decimal point here. So I will consider one decimal point. Next 1 minus 1. Here we have 0. So no need to consider that. So 1 is carry here. 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 2, 0. So 0.9. You can consider just as 0.9. Because if you write 0 in front of this value, you may write any number of 0 here, but those zeros don't have value. Okay. So you have to consider it as 0.9 kilometer. Okay. So here you have to write Ayub travelled 0.9 kilometer. 0.9 kilometer more than who is that? Dinesh. Okay. So this is our final answer. Okay. First here you have to draw this diagram. Next you have to calculate total distance travelled by Dinesh. Next you have to calculate total distance travelled by Ayub. Then you have to compare these two values, total distance covered by Dinesh and Ayub. So here after comparing these two values you will get to know who travelled more. And they are asking by how much they travelled more. Okay. For that we have to subtract one value from higher value. So we subtracted 20.2 from this 21.1. So we got a value as 0.9. Therefore, Ayub travelled 0.9 kilometers more than Dinesh. Okay. So just pause this video and write the question from textbook. Below that, write this answer. Okay. So now one more problem, 8th problem. Try to solve that problem. If you got doubt, you can ask me. I will make a video on that. Now I will discuss only one problem, that is 9th problem of this exercise 2.5. With that your exercise will be completed. try to solve 8th problem of this exercise. So here they are given how much less is 28 kilometer than 42.6 kilometer. So they are asking this 28 kilometer, this is how much less than 42.6 kilometer. Okay. So how to calculate or how to find out the difference between this 28 and 42.6 kilometer? If you want to calculate difference, then always you have to subtract numbers. If you want to calculate sum, then you have to add those two numbers. So here they are asking how much less means that is nothing but difference. How much less is 28 kilometer than 42.6 kilometers. So now we want to find out difference between these two values. So we want to subtract here. How will you subtract? Here 42.6 is greater than 28. So I will subtract this for 28 from 42.6. So first I will write 42.6 here minus 28. We don't have any decimal value here. So if you want, you can consider here value as 0.0. 0.0 means it is here it has no value. You can consider as 0.0 or just you can write it as 28 also, no problem. Okay. But if you don't consider here, you will get confused with this problem. So that I am considering here 0.0. So 6 minus 0, 6, and after these two digits we have decimal point. So I will consider decimal point only. And here 2 minus 8, it is not possible. So I will consider one carry. So 12 minus 8, what you will get? 4. And here 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, and here we have 1 as carry. So 2 minus 1, 1. So the answer is 14.6 kilometer. You can see here, without considering this 0.0 also I will calculate here. 42.6 minus 28. Here 6 and below this 6 we don't have any value. So consider 6 as it is only, and before this 6 we have decimal point. Consider decimal point, and here 2 minus 8 is not possible. Consider one carry. So 12 minus 8 means what you will get? 4, and here 4 minus 3, 1. So here also we got 14.6 only. Okay. So the answer is 14.6 kilometers. So what you will write here? Below this you should write 28 kilometer. 28 kilometer is 14.6 kilometer. We got answer as 14.6 kilometer. 28 kilometer is 14.6 kilometer less than 42.6 kilometer. So this 28 kilometer is 14.6 kilometer less than 42.6 kilometer. Okay. With this, your exercise 2.5 is completed. So I think most of the problems already I discussed and I solved in videos only. So try to solve remaining problems. Some 4 to 5 problems are left out, I think. So try to solve those problems. If you got doubts with those problems, so just text me in WhatsApp so that I can make videos on those problems also, and complete your Facebook up to exercise 2.5. And in next class I will discuss about multiplication of decimal numbers. So just now we have seen here you can see in this problems decimal number addition and subtraction, and in 2.4 already we have seen division of the decimal numbers. So here next concept we will see multiplication of two decimal numbers. Already we calculated or we multiplied when we have only one decimal number and one whole number, but now in next class we will see multiplication of decimal numbers, but only the difference is here we will get two decimal numbers. Okay, so we will discuss that in next class. Before that, complete this exercise 2.5. Okay, thank you all.